Hello and welcome back to my workshop. My name is Jeremiah, and on this video I want to show you how you can design your own custom lightsaber hilts for 3D printing. I've been playing around today with Fusion 360, making my own custom lightsaber, and it is pretty easy once you know the tools. So I'm here to show you how you can make your own. I'm really excited, so let's get going. First thing we want to do is create a sketch on our bottom plane. And we're going to create a rectangle starting on that center point right there, the center of your origin of the whole plane. Make sure it's got that blue square around it, and then we're going to create a rectangle. Now, let's put in some dimensions. The dimensions of a lightsaber are typically 10 inches long. So let's put our first dimension in. And we'll use our sketch dimension and change that to 10 inches. I'm also limiting it to 10 inches because my 3D printer will only print 10 inches. So anything under 10, it'll fit. So the other dimension that we're going to do is doing a little research, I found out that the typical handle part, the thickest part of a lightsaber, is about 1.5 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to do half 1.5 inches because we're using the revolve tool. So we want to do half of that. So what I'm going to type in, instead of doing the math on a calculator, what is that? I'm going to do 1.5, and then I'm going to do /2, and that will do the math for you. So you can see it's 0.75. Yes, that's half of 1.5. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select that whole box. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to turn on constraints. I'm just going to constrain it I'm going to lock it so that it is completely locked. It won't change. And this is sort of the outline of our lightsaber. So as long as we don't go too far past the up and down, and as long as we don't go any past the left and right, we'll be good to go. All right, I'm going to finish my sketch. Now I don't want to edit that sketch. I want to create a completely new sketch. So the next thing I want to do is create a sketch on the same plane. So we're looking at the same direction. So now I can zoom in, and now I can start to draw the profile of my lightsaber. So I've got this lightsaber inspiration PDF here. Actually, here's a JPEG that I can look at. So I can look on here and I can see all the different styles of lightsaber, but they all have some similar things. They're all kind of symmetrical. They all have a lot of chamfers. There's more chamfers than fillets. The chamfers are angles, fillets are the rounded corners, and for the most part you're looking at more harsh angles on some of these faces. So anyway, study that, get sort of your juices flowing to think kind of in this way. We have like handles, we have emitters, we have buttons, we have things that are repeated all the way around. So you've got these elements here. You've got things that are repeated all the way up. So if you see like all these ridges here, you've got a lot of those. You see it there, you see it here and here and here. And yeah, remember to think about your emitter where the light comes out. So that's, some of these are angled, some of them are flat, some of them are really thin, like right here. You have steps here. See how it's stepped? So some of these have these really cool step features. So yeah, this one right here has a lot of steps. This one has a really short little pommel. This has like a longer pommel. So just, yeah, really immerse yourself in that before you start to create your own. All right, so I'm going to give you the very basics of how to have a lightsaber, the beginnings of a lightsaber hilt in a minute. It's really quick. It's really easy. Once you've kind of got an idea of the shape, you're going to take your line tool and you're going to come up and you're going to create your line, and you just want to make sure you don't go too far past this green line. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna come up and give me some flats and some over here, come like that. I'm gonna come over, gonna come down some more, over, up. And remember, you can zoom in and out by pinching or using your scroll wheel. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna come down, up, give it more of that step look. Here we go. And kind of come over, down, and over. So now that you have your kind of profile, your basic profile like this, you just want to make sure you come all the way down to the right corner, and then you got to come back and attach it to this left corner at the bottom so that you have a complete profile. So now that it turned blue, you know it's a complete profile. All right, I'm going to hit finish sketch. And now I have a profile. So we know the next thing to do, well, first thing I want to do is I want to turn off that first sketch. We'll just get rid of that blue or that green outline now that we know it's kind of in the right size. Next, we want to go to the revolve tool. So we're going to make sure that our profile is selected, and then we're going to make sure we're going to select our axis. So we're going to select this bottom, and boom, we have the beginning makings of a lightsaber. So it's nice, it has some features, but let's go in and I want to make sure that we're using multiple tools to make this. So we were using the revolve tool, and that is pretty simple, as you've seen. The next thing I want to do is I want to teach you how to use the circular pattern tool. So let's make something like this, something like these guys. Using the circular pattern. We'll make it exact, but we'll make it kind of inspired by that. All right, so I'm going to go to construct. I'm going to go to a tangent plane, and I'm going to put a tangent plane right on that face right there. So I'm going to create sketch, and I'm going to come in, and now I'm going to draw just a basic, I think using the center rectangle, just right in here, kind of place it right there. So I'm going to give it these little, ribbed things here. So I'm going to finish sketch. All right, so now I want to extrude. Let's come up maybe 0.2 inches. And I also want to make sure when I'm looking on the left side, I want to look, and if you zoom in, you can see it's coming from this tangent plane, but it's not wrapping around. So you want to make sure you're doing a two-sided extrude. So you just go into it a little bit and obviously change that to join. And now you can see it is touching the entire thing. All right, so another thing I want to do is I want to create a sketch right here on this side face. And I'm going to go, let's see, I think I just want to draw a box here. And then I'm going to do a circle, a center rectangle right here, and do that. Okay. So now I'm just going to extrude this out and cut that whole thing off. So now I've got it looking like that. Yeah. So I kind of like that. Now to create a pattern, a circular pattern, this is super easy. You go under create, and you're going to go to pattern and do circular pattern. And then over here you can choose like a body, a face, or a feature. Well, we're going to choose the feature, this guy and this guy. We're going to make sure that we're selected everything we want to pattern, do a circular pattern around our face. And now I'm going to select the axis. And so we're just going to select the outside of this cylinder. And we're going to select it, and you can see it starts with a default of 3. Well, I'm going to go, let's make a lot of them. Let's make 8. So I'm going to hit OK. And so now you can already see it's starting to look like a lightsaber, which is pretty cool. So I have this feature, but you know what? I think what I did is I think I extruded it too tall. So remember, we can always go back in time to our extrude, and I'm going to bring it down. Going up, I'm going to bring it down maybe 0.2, 0.15. Boom. And now it's adjusted it so it's not as tall. I love it. Looks really cool. All right, so we can do that. All over. Like we can go back in time and say, you know what? I think this area right here is too thin. So I'm gonna go back and I can do my edit sketch, and I'm gonna bring this guy out a little bit. But I also wanna give it like ribs, okay? I wanna give it like, you know, the rib thing that we saw earlier. So you can do a pattern tool in the sketch as well. So I'm gonna show you how to do a rectangular pattern. So we're gonna pattern it, but in a straight line, not in a circle. So we can go to, let's just give it these, let's give it a rectangle on this face. And I'm just gonna go like that. Now I'm gonna do create rectangular pattern, and I wanna pick these lines here. And then I'm gonna drag it out to as far as I want it to go. Let's say I wanna go there. And then I'm gonna give it, let's say 5, okay. So I'm gonna hit okay. So now you can see I've got 5 instances of that. So, well, the first thing I need to do is I need to get rid of these top parts so that I can have actually revolve the grooves. So I'm gonna delete the line. Oh, I don't wanna delete that one. That one's a useful one. I'm gonna delete this line, and it's gonna turn red where it's gonna delete, and make sure it turns red there. Okay, now when I hit finish sketch, it's gonna update. And boom, oh cool, okay. So I now have those grooves right there. That's pretty neat. Another thing you can do is if you're like, hey, I don't really like this being flat, let's just go up to chamfer, and let's chamfer that, and give it a nice little chamfer there. Okay, cool. I like that. And then let's see, I also don't like this. Let's go up and chamfer that one as well. So I'm gonna chamfer right here. And I'm gonna give that a little bit more stark chamfer. Yeah, boom. So you can see I've got my pommel here, and I got my emitter here. I'm pretty happy with my emitter. I think I'm good with that. The other thing that lightsabers have is they have buttons, and they have just little dials and things. So let's go in and let's give it a button. So I think I want a button like right here. So I'm gonna do, remember the tangent plane on this face right here. And then I'm gonna go in and create a circle, or create a sketch. And I'm gonna make a circle. And I'm gonna draw about right there. And again, we're not making this, we're not copying anything, so we're just being creative. So whatever you think it needs, put it in. I'm gonna zoom in, and I'm gonna, remember I'm gonna do a two-sided extrude because I want this button to be touching the face, and I'm gonna go and do join. All right, I like that, so I accept that. But I also wanna give this button a chamfer right here, and let's give it, oh, that's not right. Let's go back and chamfer this edge, come in. That's too much, so I'm gonna do 035 maybe, boom. Oh yeah, I love that. I love that. That looks really cool. All right. Yeah, so we have got the really good makings of a lightsaber. But you know what? I think this is too thin as well. So I'm gonna come back here. I'm gonna edit this sketch, and I wanna bring this up and over and do that. Boom. All right. But you know what? That adjusts this. I want these to come back here. So I can just go back here, and I can edit this sketch. And I'm gonna take this line and just bring it back up here. I'm gonna hit finish sketch. But you know what? That extrude didn't finish, so I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna edit this feature. Nope, not gonna edit that feature. I'm gonna edit this feature. Nope, that's the wrong one. It's this one. Edit feature, and I'm just gonna make sure I'm extruding out. So it's really easy to just go back in time, make tweaks, make adjustments. All right, I kind of like this, but I want to do something fancy here. And I'm gonna show you something that is a new tool that you haven't used. It's called the Emboss tool, all right? We're starting to get fancy on this, so bear with me, but I kind of think it's fun to go fancy sometimes. All right, I'm gonna create a new sketch, and on this one, I'm just gonna create it on the bottom plane. So this sketch is gonna be right in the center of our part. I wanna build something that interacts, that kind of cuts into this. So so we're gonna do, first of all, I want you to press P for project, or you can go under create and go down to project and do project. And what I want you to do is select this geometry, just this face, all right? And then hit OK. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna give you these purple lines. So let's see if I turn off my body, you're gonna see, yeah, these purple lines. And the purple lines are just giving you the edges, basically a flat view of those edges. So it just gives me a framework to work within, all right? So now let's say I wanna create let's just do a 2-point rectangle. So I'm gonna select here and just kind of come down. It doesn't have to be exact. I'm just looking to create a shape. So now let's fillet these edges and fillet that edge and fillet that edge. Okay, cool. So now I have this like rectangle that's got those rounded corners. All right, so I'm gonna go up to my Emboss tool and I'm gonna select this profile, and then I want to select this face. So currently it's wanting to like extrude, emboss that shape on this circular cylinder, right? But what I really want it to do is I want to cut. So I'm going to come in and drag it in, and I'm going to cut into it. So that's going to take that pattern or that shape, and it's going to cut in to my surface. So it gives me this cool little divot, right? Well, I want to make that divot happen 3 times all the way around my part. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to do pattern, and I'm going to do circular pattern, and I'm going to select that little divot because it's selected under features. I'm going to select the axis, which is just the outside of this thing, and then I'm going to leave it at 3 instances, and I'm going to hit OK. Boom. And so now I've got this circular pattern all the way around, this little divot all the way around. But you know what? That's not enough. I think I want to make more. I can go back and I can edit my pattern. And I'm going to say, let's make it 5. Boom. So now we have this really cool look to a lightsaber. So that looks like super cool. I am really happy with this lightsaber. It's got a nice, just has a nice feel to it. I like it. And I think I'm happy with this one. Okay, let's say you are just completely lost. You don't know where to start. You're not feeling any sort of inspiration. I want to show you another tool that could help you sort of have a good starting point. So I'm going to turn off this guy. I'm going to turn my guide sketch back on, and I'm going to go back to my top view. All right, so let's just bring in that image, and we can trace one that you might want to use that to jump off. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Insert, and we're going to go to Canvas. And I'm going to insert from my computer, and I'm going to pick the lightsaber inspiration image, and I'm going to select this plane here. Okay, you can see it comes in really small. So what we're going to do is we're going to scale it up. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees, and then I'm going to just start working on it. I think I'm going to do Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber from the episode 1. So I'm just going to keep scaling this until it's just about the size of my guide here. And then I want to try to line it up so that it's centered on that line. So I'm going to go about right there. That's basically lined up in the center of that. So if I were to draw this profile, just half of it, then revolve it, it would give me the whole thing. So I'm going to hit OK. All right, so let's create a new sketch on that same plane. So now we have this image that we can trace. So I'm going to take my line tool, and I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to start drawing and remember you can zoom in. I'm going to come up here, start drawing all the little facets. And if you have a higher quality image, you could do this better, but for the sake of what we're doing, this is going to be just fine. I'm going to create all of these, and then I'm going to come across here, come up here, going to go here. I think it comes up a little and goes over. We're going to come down and over and up. gonna come across here. Looks like it comes down and goes all the way over and up and here and up, and then comes over here, comes down, and I'm gonna link it there. Now remember, we have to come and do our bottom plane, our center axis right here. So we're gonna make it so that it becomes a fully blue sketch. Now I'm gonna turn off my canvas so that I can just see my profile. All right, that looks good. I'm gonna hit finish sketch, and then I'm going to hit my, let me go home here. I'm gonna hit my revolve tool. I'm gonna select that profile, and then I'm going to select my axis, and then boom. And within seconds, I've got the basis for Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber. And I did this a little earlier, and I played with it for about 10 or 15 minutes, and I came up with this. So that's almost his lightsaber. It's got some inspiration, but it's a little different. But that's the way you can start off with the profile of another lightsaber. So a couple of things I want to point out is try to avoid the curved one. That's going to be a totally different kind of 3D modeling that it's more advanced. You want to try to stick to the ones that are symmetrical, and then you can start adding things like this where you have like the big button box, or you can add the ridges on the pommel, things like that. So to review, we've used the revolve tool, we've used the circular pattern tool, we've used the rectangle pattern tool, and we've used the emboss tool, which is actually doing a deboss. It's cutting into the part rather than pulling it out of the part. I hope you can see how easy it can be. Obviously, it's going to take some practice to like really utilize all the tools to really be creative and come up with your own design. But if you just start making shapes, you can always go back in time in your timeline and tweak it, make it different. And if you just totally don't like this one, move on to the next one. The one I started with was this guy right here. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it does look like a lightsaber, and it's got some really cool elements to it. All right, that's all I have for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and send me an image of what you create. I'd love to see what lightsabers that you design, and leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm happy to help, always willing to point people in the right direction if I don't know the answer, and I'll see you on the next video.